Okay, 3.4 كلها inequalities. In the quiz, there's no system of inequalities, neither is there in the course revision. But there was in the AMS. I'm gonna give you one extra at the end of the video, because I'm scared they give it to you and you guys all panic and oh my god, what's this? What wasn't teaches this? Oh, we don't remember. Okay, المهم, let's start. Which of the following is true? 3x squared plus 4x plus 2 greater than 0. Okay, remember that when we're doing the inequalities, always find your solutions and then write your table. Okay, if this comes in the written, which it probably will, find your solutions. Okay, how do we find it? Let's factor 3x squared plus 4x plus 2. Let's factor 3 times 2 is 6, which is two numbers multiplied to get 6, but when you add them, you get 4. Nothing. It's not factorable. Wait, hold up. Yeah, it's not factorable. Hatta if you try it, if you try doing it with the quadratic formula, find the discriminant b squared minus 4ac. It should be a negative number, I think. So b squared is 4 squared minus 4 times 3 times 2 minus 12 times 2. 4 squared, 4 squared minus 24. 16 minus 24 minus 8. Yeah, so it's a negative discriminant. Okay, meaning that it's not factorable on the set of real numbers. Okay, so if you were to factor, you're going to get a complex number, imaginary I. But we're right now, when we're working with inequalities, we don't care about I. Okay, keep that for you. Okay, so since it's not factorable, that means our equation will always be positive. Why is it always positive? Because it's going to look something like this. If you were to draw it, it would look like this. Okay? Because the root, there's no root. It doesn't ever touch 0. Okay, so it's always positive. Okay? So when is it greater than 0 and when is it positive? It's always positive because it's not factorable. If it's not factorable, it's always the same. And in this case, since a is positive, that means our quadratic is positive. That means it's always positive. So it's always greater than 0 for all real values. Blah 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 blah. Question 2. Okay, x squared minus 6x plus 9 greater than or equal to 0. X squared minus 6x plus 9. If you factor it, it's going to be x minus 3 squared. Okay. So if you factor it, okay, because it's a square. If you want which two numbers multiply to get 9, which and they add up to get 3, it's 3 and 3. So you're going to get x minus 3, which is the same as x minus 3 squared. Just so you know, I'm showing all the possible alternatives. Okay, so that means we only have one root, right? And that's 3. Okay, so let's draw the table. X, Y. Okay, put it here. At 3, since it's a root, our Y is going to be 0. Okay, since it's only one root, our quadratic doesn't change signs. Okay, it's always, in this case, it's going to be always, what's the sign of the quadratic? It's positive, so that means it's always going to be positive. So here it's going to be positive, and here it's going to be positive. Okay, why? Because it's only one root. So if you want to look at it like this, x is over here at 3, it's going to look something like this. See? It doesn't go down into negatives, it only touches 3 and then goes back up. Okay, that's what it means when you only have one root. So what are they asking? They're saying greater than or equal to 0. So let's go back to our table, just so you can help visualize it. When is it greater than 0? When is it positive? It's positive before 3 and after 3. But did they say greater than 0? No, they said greater than or equal to 0. So it's greater than 0 before 3 and after 3. And then you want when is it equal to 0? At 3. So all of this is included. All of this after it is included. And then they said or equal to 0. So you can also take this 3. So what do I have here? I have all real numbers. So all are. Okay. Question 3. Oh, I went to 4. Question 3, x squared minus 7x minus 18 less than 0. Okay, what's our first step? Always factor, right? X squared minus 7x minus 18. If you want to show your work in the written, factor it out. It's going to be x minus 9, x plus 2. So my two solutions are x equals 9, x1 equals 9, x2 equals minus 2. Now what we do, we draw our table. X, y, like this. Okay? This way will get you full in the written. Okay? We have minus 2 here. We have 9 here. At our roots, it will always be 0 and 0. Okay, in between the roots, it's always opposite to my quadratic. What is my quadratic? It's positive x squared. So what's opposite to the positive? In between my roots, I'm going to have negative. Okay, for people who have never done this in their lives, that's just how it works. You draw the table. In between the roots, always the sign is negative. Oh, I shouldn't write it up here. I should write it down. Sorry, I should write it down here. Negative here. So in between negative 2 and 9, it's negative. Okay, Then before and after the roots, it continues off normally. Positive, positive. Okay, so continues off normally. Since it's positive x squared, so it continues off normally. When is it less than 0? So when is it negative? When is it negative? It's negative in between here. In between what? Negative 2 and 9. So when is it negative? It's negative in between negative 2 and 9. So this is how my solution set is going to look like. When it's in between, this is how you write it. Okay, so if you want to draw this quadratic, it would look like this. You have negative 2 over here, you have 9 over here. It's going to look like this. Okay, see how it's positive, it's positive, it's positive, positive. Then after it crosses negative 2, it becomes negative, 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 and then it goes back, it crosses 9, and it starts becoming positive, like here, like I have here. It's positive, then after it crosses negative 2, it becomes negative, after it crosses 9, it becomes positive, just so you can help visualize it. I'm trying my best to. Okay, question 4. What's true about the quadratic trinomial minus x squared minus 2x plus 15? Okay, what's the first thing to do? The first thing to do is to factor it out. Okay, when you factor and you have a negative as your leading coefficient, when factoring, it's very, very smart to take out the negative. X squared plus 2x minus 15. This is when you want to factor. Okay, factoring is different than when you're solving the inequality. No, that's different. So let's factor. I factored, I took out the negative, it became minus x squared plus 2x minus 15. Okay, factor this out. Which numbers when you multiply, you get 15. When you subtract them, you get 2. It's going to be 5 and 3. So x plus 5, x minus 3. Okay, so what are my two solutions? X equals minus 5 and x equals 3. So x1 equals minus 5, x2 equals 3. Okay, now what do? We're going to draw our table, x and y. Some people actually write f of x instead of y. If you want to write f of x, that's completely fine. Okay, x, it's more professional to write f of x. Okay, if you write f of x, you show the person correctly that you actually know your stuff. What are my x's? Minus 5 and 3. So minus 5 over here, 3 over here. Okay, so that means at both our roots it's going to be 0, 0. Always remember that. Okay, in between our roots, it's going to be opposite to our quadratic. When looking at the sign of your quadratic, you don't look at the steps you used to factor. No, we don't care here. Okay, we go back to our question. Look at the quadratic they gave us. What's the quadratic we're working with? Minus x squared. So what's the opposite of minus? It's going to be positive. Then after it, it's gonna, and after it, before, it's gonna continue as normal. So what was the sign of the quadratic? Negative. So before the root is gonna be the same as the quadratic, so it's gonna be negative. Then after, it's also gonna be the same, which is negative. Okay, let's see what are they asking. X equals 3 is a root. Yes, we found x equals 3 is a root. Okay, is it less than 0 in between minus 5 and 3? Let's see. In between minus 5 and 3 is less than 0? No. It's actually positive, so it's greater than 0 in between minus 5 and 3. So I can directly put this correct. And no, it's greater than 0 in between minus 5 and 3. Look, in between minus 5 and 3, it's positive, so greater than 0. Okay, then let's look at this one here. Is it greater than 0 for after minus 5? Okay, so let's go after minus 5. So all the way to this way. Is it greater than 0? Yes, it is. But after it reaches 3, it changes back to negative. So is that correct? Is it greater than 0 for all numbers after minus 5? No. It's only greater than 0 here. Like we said, in between minus 5 and 3. So this is wrong. And this is wrong. Okay. Is it less than 0 for all numbers before minus 5 and all numbers after 3? Let's go back to our table. When is it less than 0? Let's see. Before minus 5. Go to the left of minus 5. Is it negative? Yes, it is. Then after 3. Go to the right of 3. Is it negative? Yes, it is. So it's correct. Okay. Is it positive before minus 5 and after 3? Obviously not. We just said before minus 5 and after 3, it's going to be less than 0. So it's negative. So this is wrong. So these are your 3 correct options. Okay. Then I think you need, yeah, okay. Let me erase this. You need the solving for part B. Part B, they say the solution set of x squared less than 2x minus 15. Okay. Sorry, minus x squared less than 2x minus 15. Okay, when solving this, again, please use your head. Just move everything to one side. Okay, put everything to the left. Let's put everything to the left. So it's going to become minus x squared minus 2x plus 15. Surprise, surprise. That's the same quadratic that they gave us in part A. So do you really have to work? No, it's khalas, you already did all the working. So the solution set, okay, less than 0. Oh, sorry, I forgot to write less than 0. Because when you move everything to one side, khalas, it's only 0 that's left on the right. So what is less than? They wrote less than. It's less than over here. Okay, so less than 0. If you move everything to the left, it's going to be only 0 left on the right. Okay, when is our quadratic less than 0? When is it negative? We actually found it in part A. When is it less than 0? For all x less than minus 5. And then all x greater than 3. Okay, and if let's say you don't have this part A, again we can go back to the table. When is it less than 0? When is it negative? It's negative after -5, right? So when to the left of -5, so we can put to the left of -5, and then it's also negative to the right of to the right of 3, sorry. So after 3, so greater than 3. So this is my solution set. Okay. Question 5. Okay, what is true about x squared minus 14, x plus 49? Okay, before doing this, since it's an inequality question, our first step always factor. Okay, x squared minus 14, x plus 49 is going to be x minus 7 squared. Okay, or some people can say x minus 7, x minus 7. Okay, المهم, our root is x equals 7. Okay, so let's write our table, x, f of x, or you can say y if you want. Okay, at 7, it's going to be 0. Then before and after my root is going to be the same as the quadratic, so it's going to be positive. Positive before 7, positive after 7. Okay, let's see. When does it equal 0? Only when x equals 7. That's correct, right? When is it equal? When x equals 7. Okay, when is it less than 0? For all real numbers x. Okay, let's see here. Is it ever less than 0? Is it ever negative? Obviously not. Okay, it's less than 0 for all real numbers excluding x equals 7. Again, is it ever 0? Is it ever less than 0? Is it ever negative here? No. It's greater than or equal to 0 for all real numbers x. Okay, is it greater than 0? Is it positive? Yes, it's positive for all numbers except 7. But did they say greater than 0? No, they said greater than or equal to 0. So greater than 0, it's all numbers except 7, and equal to 0, it is 7. So all numbers, hatta with the 7, that means our solution says all real numbers. It's always greater than 7 or equal to 7 in this case. Sorry, greater than 0 or equal to 0. Then it's less than 0 for in between -7 and 7. That's just wrong. There's no -7, there's no negative here, so khalas, it's wrong. X squared minus 14, x plus 49 is less than or equal to 0 only for x equals 7. Okay, is it ever less than 0? No, right? It's always positive. But they said less than or equal to 0. Is it ever equal to 0? Yes, it is, and it's equal to 0 over here at x equals 7. So you can only say when x equals 7, we can say it's less than or equal to 0. Question 5, as a 6. What is true about this quadratic trinomial? Okay, if you factor this, 25 times 1, 25, and which two numbers when you multiply them you get 25, when you add them you get 5? Nothing, actually, it's not factorable. Yeah, it's not factorable. If, look, if in the exam you're stuck and you think that something isn't factorable, to prove that something isn't factorable, find the discriminant, okay? If the discriminant is negative, then it's not factorable. So if you think, oh wait, like if you're looking at an equation and you're like, I don't think this is factorable. I think it's no roots. Okay, to prove it, just to make sure, find the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. So b squared is minus 5 squared. Okay, minus 4 times 25 times 1. Minus 5 squared is 25. Minus 4 times 25 times 1 is minus 100. You get minus 75. Okay, if your discriminant is negative, it's negative discriminant. That means there's no roots. Okay, it's not factorable. If you said it's not factorable, and then after you found the discriminant it's a positive number, that means you did something wrong. Okay, that means it is factorable. Okay, المهم, here, no roots, right? No roots. So if you were to draw the x and then f of x table, okay, I would have no roots here, right? So it never touches 0. So the quadratic will always be, in this case, what's the sign of it? Positive, right? So for all numbers, it's going to be positive. Okay? So there's going to be no real roots, obviously. And it's always positive, right? We said it's always positive, so it's going to be greater than 0 for all real numbers. So if you were to draw this, it would never touch 0. It's always positive, like this. Okay? Question B, sorry, part B. Okay, again, they gave you 25x squared less than 5x minus 1. Okay, what do you have to do? Take everything to one side. So it's going to become 25x squared minus 5x plus 1 less than 0. Because it was less than, huh? And it's now 0 only left. Okay, so surprise, surprise. Again, it's the same equation they gave us at the start. Okay, and did we say that our equation up ever touches the x, ever touches 0? No. Did we say it was ever negative? No, we said it's always positive. So the solution set for this is empty. Okay, just say no solution or empty solution or empty set or whatever. Okay, you'll get a mark. Just giving you ideas for the written. Question 7. What is true about this? Again, is it factorable? Yes, it's factorable. Okay, if you factor this, you're going to get x minus 6, x plus 4. I'm not here to teach you guys how to factor. This is stuff people in grade 8 are learning. Okay, so x minus 6, x plus 4. So let's draw our f of x table. So our solutions are x1 equals 6 and x2 equals minus 4. X, f of x. Let's draw it. Okay. What are my two x's? Minus 4, 6. At minus 4 it's 0, at 6 it's 0. In between my roots it's going to be opposite to my quadratic. What's my quadratic? It's positive. So what's opposite of positive? It's going to be negative in between my roots. Then after and before my roots, it's going to be the same as the quadratic. So the same as the quadratic, so it's positive. So positive after the root, positive before the root. Okay, let's see here now. Is x equals minus 4 a root? Yes, it is. Okay, when is it less than 0? It's less than 0 in between minus 4 and 6. Let's see. Is it less than 0 between minus 4 and 6? In between minus 4 and 6, yes, it's less than 0. So we can say it's less than 0 between minus 4 and 6. It's negative. Okay, is it greater than 0 for all x after minus 4? So let's see. After minus 4, is it greater than 0? Is it positive after minus 4? No. Right here, after minus 4, I receive negative. So obviously this is wrong. Is it greater than 0 for all numbers between minus 4 and 6? No. See, in between minus 4 and 6, it's actually less than 0. It's negative. Okay, is it less than 0 for all x before minus 4 and all x after 6? Let's see, before minus 4, let's look to the left. It's actually positive, right? So it's greater than 0. And then after 6, go to the right. It's actually positive. So it's greater than 0. So is it less than 0? No. It's greater than 0 for all x before minus 4 and all x after 6. Let's see, all x before minus 4. So go from minus 4, go to the left. Is it greater than 0? Is it positive? Yes, it is. And then how about 6? Go to the right. Is it positive? Yes, it is. So it's correct. Then I think part B is going to be the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Again, take it all to one side. So take the 24 to this side. It's going to become x squared minus 2x less than x squared minus 2x minus 24 less than or equal to 0. Okay. So it's our same equation. Oh, I think I deleted it. Shit. Let me rewrite it. It was x f of x, and I had minus 4 and I had 6 and 0 0 on negative on positive positive. Okay, when is it less than or equal to 0? Okay, so first let's check the less than 0. When is it negative? It's negative in between 4 and 6. So just between 4, between minus 4 and 6. Okay, but they also said or equal to 0. When is it equal to 0? At minus 4 and at 6. So instead of writing and x equals minus 4 and x equals 6, I can just put greater than or equal to minus 4, less than or equal to 6. See, if they want the equal part, you can just put or equal. That's it. Okay. So I don't know why they put it like this, but you can rewrite this as this. It's the same thing. Okay. So x greater than or equal to minus 4. So all x after minus 4. Okay. Including the minus 4, and all x before 6. All x before 6. So it kind of gives us that solution set in the middle. Okay, it's very annoying. I don't recommend writing it like this, but in case you know, they give it to you in the exam, just so you know what you're doing. Okay. Question 8. Again, factor this. 100x squared minus 10x plus 1 is the same as 5x minus 2 squared. Because if you factor it, you're gonna get 10x, I think. Is it 10? No, you're gonna get 100x minus 10, and then wait, what am I saying? It's not 5x minus 2. Let me see. Actually, this isn't factorable. If you look at it, 100 times 1 is 100. Then which two numbers, when you multiply them, you get 100. But when you add them, you get 10. Obviously, there's nothing. And how do I prove that it's not factorable? Let's find delta. Let's find the discriminant. B squared minus 4ac. Okay, so minus 10 squared minus 4 times 100 times 1. I think obviously you can see that it's going to be negative. Minus 10 squared is 100. Minus 4 times 100 is minus 400. So you're going to get discriminants minus 300. So it's obviously it's not factorable. Okay, so obviously since it's not factorable, there's going to be no roots, so that quadratic never changes its sign. So as long as the x goes on for infinity, the quadratic will always be, in this case, positive, right? Okay, so it has no real roots, and it's always positive. It's greater than 0 for all real numbers, meaning all the time it's going to be positive. Part B. Okay, the same. obviously we take everything to one side. So it's going to be 100x squared minus 10x plus 1 greater than or equal to 0. Okay, when is it greater than or equal to 0? When is it positive? It's positive, we said, for all real numbers, and it never equals 0, so you could just say all real numbers. Okay, question 9. Okay, this one you have to factor. 25 times 4 is 100. Which two numbers now, when you multiply them, you get 100, but when you add them, you get 20. 10 and 10. Okay, so you're going to get 25x plus 10. 25x again plus 10. Okay, can you simplify this? You can divide by 5 on both sides. Here, divide by 5, divide by 5. You're going to get 5x plus 2 times 5x plus 2. Okay, so you could just say 5x plus 2 squared. So what's my solution? It's going to be minus 2 over 5. Okay, and here they didn't put fractions for some reason. I don't know why, but minus 2 over 5, everybody should know that minus 2 over 5 is minus 0.4. Okay, over 5 is always easy. If you don't know how to do this, just do 2 divided by 5. I'm sorry, this should be common sense. 2 divided by 5, you can't, so you put 0 point, you add a 0, 20 divided by 5, 4. That's it. Come on. المهم, our root is negative 0.4. Okay, and it's one root. So let's draw our x and f of x table, fx and f of x. Okay, our root is negative 0.4. Okay, so at our root is going to be 0, and then before and after the root is going to continue on as normal. So it's positive here, so before the root is positive, after the root is going to be positive. So let's see. When does it equal 0? Only for x equals minus 0.4. So, by the way, if in the exam you write minus 2 over 5 as your answer, عادي, there's nothing wrong with that. In the written, قصدي يعني. They should accept it. If not, then you should complain to your head of department, because in Cambridge and in AP they accept all answers as decimals, as fractions. Okay, they never say for you to express it as decimal, unless in the question they tell you write your answer as a decimal. Okay, المهم minus 0.4. Okay, 25x squared plus 20x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 0 for all real numbers x. Okay, when is it greater than or equal to 0? When is it positive? It's positive before negative 0.4 and after negative 0.4. But they said or equal to 0. So also you have to include this thing in the middle. So am I including everything in my graph? Yes, so it's all real numbers. Does it have two roots? No. Does it have no roots? No. When is it less than or equal to 0? Is it ever less than or equal to 0? Is it ever negative? It's never negative. But they said or equal to 0, so you have to also include this negative 0.4. So it's only equal to 0 at the negative 0.4. So that's one solution. And then it's greater than 0 for all real numbers x. That means it's always positive. Is it always positive here? No. It actually touches 0. So it's not always positive. Question part B. Okay, I'm not going to erase. I just want I want this solution. Okay, the solution set here, they actually gave it to you, is greater than 0. When is it greater than 0? It's all real numbers excluding minus 0.4. When is it positive, yani? It's always positive except at minus 0.4. You could rewrite this and say that the solution set is all real numbers except minus 0.4. Okay, that's just another, it's a fancy way of writing. المهم, all real numbers except minus 0.4. Question 10. Okay, what is, why is this like this? Okay, what is true about this trinomial? Okay, it's factorable. You're gonna get 6x minus 1 squared. Why? 36 times 1 is 36. Which two numbers, when you multiply, you get 36. When you add them, you get 12. It's gonna be 36x minus 6. 36x minus 6. Then divide by 6, divide by 6, divide by 6, divide by 6. You're going to get 6x minus 1, and then 6x minus 1. I'm not going to rewrite it, but المهم, you're going to get 6x minus 1. So your solution is going to be x equals 1 over 6. Yeah, x1 equals 1 over 6. Okay, and 2. Why am I saying x1? المهم, x equals 1 over 6. So I only have one root, and that's 1 over 6. Okay, so if I write my f of x table at 1 over 6, okay, it's going to be 0. Then before and after, it's going to be the same as the quadratic. So it's going to be positive before, positive after. Okay, please, if it comes written, don't just write like this. Please write down your reasons. Okay, please, 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 please write down 36x squared. Be professional. 36x squared minus 12x plus 1 equals 6x minus 1 squared. Because in the last written, I saw so many people got marks deducted because you didn't show your work properly. You didn't show this because of this. Give reasoning. Show this, okay? Write this. Then say, then x equals 1 over 6. Then write your khara table, x f of x, okay? Ek 1 over 6. Then you put positive, positive, okay, 0. Okay, if you want, you can even write so at 1 over 6, y equals 0, or f of x equals 0. Okay, then write your table. Okay, then, and depends on what they're asking you. Then you see here, maybe in the question they ask you greater than 0. When is it greater than 0? You can say it is greater than 0. You have to write. You have to write. You can't just say, you can't just put the answer between or all real numbers, all are except 1 over 6. You can't. Yani, it, the person correcting doesn't know you're smart, okay? Because I know you guys are smart, you know it, but you have to show your work. You have to say uh, this equation 36x squared minus 12x plus 1 greater than 0 for you write 4 and then you write your solution for all, you could say r, or you could say all real numbers except 1 over 6. If you do this, that's full. Okay, but if you just write rubbish and you just put this, then this, then this, and then you put r except 1 over 6, the person correcting, I'm serious, is gonna spit on your paper. Because you're not reasoning. You need to show reason for everything. Okay? So sorry for ranting. But x, f of x, let's continue again. 1 over 6, positive, 0, positive. Okay? Your answer should look something like this. Okay? This is how you should write your answer. The way they put it in the multiple is how you should write it down. Okay? المهم 1 is greater than 0, all real numbers excluding 1 over 6. We just did it. Okay, because it's positive everywhere except at 1 over 6. Okay, it's greater than 0 for all real numbers, obviously wrong. It equals 0 for 1 over 6, yes. Okay. Hold up. Greater than or equal to 0 for all real numbers. Did I do that? المهم, it's always positive, but it's not positive at 1 over 6. It equals 0. But they said greater than or equal to 0, so you can also include that 1 over 6, so that's also correct. It's greater than 0 in between minus 1 over 6 and 1 over 6. That's wrong, obviously. And then it's less than or equal to 0 for no real number x. Obviously, it's not negative, but it does equal 0 at one point. So is it no real number? No. Obviously, that's wrong. Is there part B? Yes. Okay, what is the solution of this? Again, if you move it to one side, you're going to get the same equation you used in part A. So you get 36x squared minus 12x. Take the minus 1 to this side, plus 1 less than or equal to 0. Okay, is it the same equation we used up? Yes. When is it less than or equal to 0? Okay, it's never less than 0, it's never negative, but it does equal 0 once over here at 1 over 6. So you can say, you have to write 36x squared minus 12x plus 1 less than or equal to 0 for x equals 1 over 6. Boom, you get full. And أكيد show your work up. You factored وما بعرف شو, and you showed the solution. Question 11. Okay, what's true about this? Okay, أول شيء, it came in the AMS. People got it wrong. And I told you, look at the sign of the quadratic. Okay, last time in the AMS it came something like minus 5x minus 4, 3x plus 2. I mean, of course it's not the same numbers, but I remember that the number outside was minus 5. Okay, so people, they solved how to x f of x. Okay, and then they got the roots. Say in this case the roots are minus 2 over 3 and 4. Okay, and in between the root, okay, 0 0, in between the roots they didn't look at the minus 5 outside, they only looked here. Okay, and they saw, oh, positive x here, positive x here. Oh, I'm good. Okay, عادي. So in between the roots is going to be opposite of positive, is going to be negative. So up here is going to be positive, here is going to be positive, blah blah blah. No, and minus 5, where are you going to take it? This minus 5 is being distributed into the whole quadratic, so the sign depends on the number outside also. Okay, because actually if you distribute, x times x is going to be, x times 3x is going to be 3x squared, right? So it's positive quadratic, guys, positive quadratic. لا حبيبي, there's minus 5 outside. What's minus 5 times 3x squared? Minus 15x squared. So actually quadratic is negative. So pay attention to the number outside. Okay, حتى maybe they get for you if it came like this, 3x minus 4, then 2 plus 3x. طب وليد, what's wrong here? I'll tell you what's wrong. Look at the second one. Why is it flipped? If it's flipped, that means your quadratic is negative. Okay? Because 2 plus 3x is the same as minus 3x plus 2. Okay? Sorry, 2 minus 3x. Yeah, 2 minus 3x. Or wait, am I tweaking? Wait. Yeah, it's the same as 2 plus 3x. المهم, if you have the x as the second number, that also means your quadratic is negative. These are things that, okay, they might not come, but if they do come, I mean, the regional has been unpredictable these days. In case it does come, know it, okay? Because our math teacher did tell us about it. She said it could come. المهم, let's solve this one. So they gave us the roots directly. Actually, they gave it factored. So our roots are 4 and minus 2 over 3. So we can write our table. Okay, and it's positive since the number outside is positive and I have x as the first term. Nothing unusual here. Okay, so in between the roots is going to be opposite. Here it's positive, so in between is going to be opposite, so it's going to be negative. Okay, and then before and after the roots is going to be positive, the same as the quadratic. Okay, المهم, when is it greater than 0? When is it positive? It's greater than 0. When is it positive? It's greater than 0. It's positive all numbers before minus 2 over 3, so all x less than minus 2 over 3. Okay, and then all numbers after 4, right? So and, or, sorry, or you could say, or, you don't say and, you say or. Okay, or x greater than 4. Please don't say and. Please. Thank you. Okay, or x greater than 4. So this one's correct. It's less than 0 for all real numbers x. That means it's always less than 0. It's always negative. Is it always negative? Obviously not. It's greater than 0 between minus 2 over 3 and 4. Let's look between minus 2 over 3 and 4. Is it greater than 0? Is it positive? No. It's less than 0 in between minus 2 over 3 and 4. Let's look between minus 2 over 3 and 4. Is it negative? Yes, it is. That's correct. It's less than 0 for all numbers? No. Then it is equal to 0 whenever x equals 4 or minus 2 over 3. Let's see, when is it equal to 0? Look at our roots, minus 2 over 3 and 4. That's it for this one. Thank you for watching.